Rohingya in Indonesia is quite a blind spot for the advocacy realm. And so we, 5 women, including myself, went to Aceh to visit the Rohingya refugee camp and have some meetings with Aceh stakeholders.
I was very excited to reconnect with these amazing women that I was able to connect with via social media. You know, meeting people face to face is completely different to social media. We were able to bond over our identities as Rohingya. We were able to speak about our culture, our history, and how I felt was emotional, mixed of emotions. But I also felt a sense of hope because I look around the other sisters and I know each of us have gone through displacement. We've gone through violence throughout our journeys as refugees.
So at times like this, when we are working for the plights of our community, it is very important for us to be connected with other activists in Rohingya diaspora, as well as the Rohingya from within, inside the country, from different parts of the world. So I was really excited that all this is happening finally into reality.
So when we got to Aceh, it was very busy. We did a bit of crowdfunding, personal crowdfunding back at home, back in Australia, America, Canada. We managed to raise some funds through our own family and friends. We connected with organizations that work on the grounds in Aceh and asked them what the needs were.
Right now we're actually planning and preparing in the background of the list of the places we're going to go. We've identified some of the gaps and needs that Rohingya refugees have in Aceh. So there are a lot of things that we still need to pick up, but wish us luck, and we're hoping to get all of those delivered tomorrow. As our community, we don't really go visit people empty-handed. We need to take care of our brothers and sisters. And we realized we could do a lot of good for 147 people who are currently stuck in the camp. And so we went right away around 8 p.m. because that was right after Maghrib, which is when the stores reopened. And we went straight all the way to almost 1 a.m. So there are a lot more that we are hoping to do, especially getting supplies for the children. We've had a really, really late night at that point, and we were, having to wake up really early to ensure that we get to spend as much time as possible in the camp. So that was a bit of an internal struggle for all of us. We were all quite sleepy, but we were all very fueled by the fact that we're going to see our brothers and sisters.
I'm not a person of usually wake up early or go somewhere or mostly speak up publicly. So for me, it was kind of it was not something that I did it, and it was I feel like it was really a great opportunity that I get to do that. And after meeting Yasmin and Aziza and Hafsha, it was really eye-opening. I haven't seen any Rohingya women like that who were working for a community, and they know what they're doing.
So when I first met Yasmin and Nur Aziza and Hafsar, I was a bit nervous. I was like, am I gonna fit in? Am I gonna be able to meet their standards? Am I gonna be able to do well?
We realized, along the way, there's a reason why God brought, our people here to Aceh. The landscape, the mountains, everything looked just like Arakan.
And that feeling on the way was, it's really hard to describe. As soon as the van arrived inside UNHCR, inside the camp, I just had tears coming out of my face because I heard the children's voices, I heard our language spoken, I heard the children saying, oh, we're so excited, they're bringing things for us, we're so excited to meet some of our sisters.
When I first walked in, I see kids running around there, and it really made me emotional, seeing them. They're all I don't know. And then when I went up to them and I started talking to them, they're like, are you Rohingya? Are you fully Rohingya? I was like, yes, I am fully Rohingya.
what we started out to do was we wanted to have a children's section where we purely talked to the children. So there were moments where we sat there and listened to them perform for us. And there were also moments that we read children's story, my book very specifically that I wrote for the children. I was hoping that it would be some sort of a love letter for them to feel connected to their culture. We also had a specific session in mind that we wanted to do with women, where there would be no camera, there would be nobody else from the outside, joining us, listening into the conversation. We spent, I think, nearly 3 hours with them, and they were able to tell us about a lot of the worries and the issues that they faced, especially in family separation, and a lot of the fears that they have living in the camp, and why they were there in the first place, which was not really up to their choice. The one thing that we wanted to succeed in this mission was that we connect with the people there and have this direct contact, so that our people feel like they're also not forgotten.
It was it was shocking for them to see actual Rohingya coming, to see them. And for me, the most heart-touching was more like when they're all kids were, no matter how hardship they went through, they're doing what they need to do. For me, at this time, hearing from them, their story, their struggles, it was different. At that moment, I really missed my mom and dad, and I was like, I cannot really imagine what they have been through. So yeah.
And it was as I heard the stories about how, the people, about how the refugees, they were saying that, I was separated by family. Especially the women, they said that, I was separated, from my husband. And some of the children there, they don't even have their parents, Some of the children there are orphans. So it really made me homesick, and it really made me reflect on, my appreciation for my family.
I think it was very, very mixed emotion. On the one hand, I was very, very happy to be able to see my people. On the other hand, I still feel quite saddened that our people continue to have to be on the move in order to flee violence, in order to sort of find solace and, a better future that they've been seeking for their family and their children.
It was two things. The first thing was something I heard throughout. It was with the women, the men, and the children as well. And it was, I've never seen peace in my life, and I don't even know what that means, and I don't even know what that looks like. And that is something that I heard, that was a common language that was used by many of the Rohingya. And that made me really, really, really push myself to do more for my community, because these people deserve to see peace in their life. They, just like everyone, they have children, they have a family, and they also want to live a normal life. And the second thing is how much the mothers and the fathers were striving for their children to receive education. For a lot of us that receive education, we go to school and it becomes normal. But for the Rohingya refugees in camp, education is more than just going to a classroom. It's something that's going to change their lives and also rebuild their characters, and also rebuild their own family and their own communities.
So one of the things that really stood out to me was the fact that the Rohingya refugees, they're not complaining about having to be there. They're very grateful to be able to seek refuge somewhere else. One thing that really stood out to me was about how much, they focus on the children. The adults, they're like, it's not really for us. We care more about the children, about how they're gonna develop, about especially their education.
It wasn't too different in a way, because I used to work in this human rights space with other INGO like UNHCR and refugee space in the past as well. I do know how things work, but I was a little bit sad for my communities, even if they have all this protection and they now don't have to worry about their safety, but they're still having this restraint from going out from the camp. And the children from the camps are deprived from their education. They cannot have access to education because one of the significant things that we repeatedly hear from our community is that we would like our children and younger people to have access to education. They are our hope for our future. They are the one who will bring our freedom and liberation for us one day and to rebuild our communities.
And so current batch of people are at 147 people. 80 of them are children, and young children at that. Only 10 children so far have the permission to go to school. However, that permission is not without strings attached. They can go to school as long as the security system, the security and the police allow them to go. And some days that doesn't happen. Just as we went to visit the camp, 10 of those children were just barred from actually going to school.
So one thing that has really changed in this trip for me visiting people in the camps is that I used to think, like I would help Rohingya, but in my zone, being in my comfort zone around where I'm living at. But coming here out of my zone, it really made me realize that this is what I actually really want to do. Help my community and help the children to get access, at least whatever I can do, at least I'm helping them. Not just, just being in my comfort zone there and helping the Rohingya there, but I have to actually help the Rohingya outside of that too. So that one thing that made me realize. Another thing is that how my mom and dad went through, I couldn't help them. I was not there to help them, what they have been through. My dad losing his family, my mom losing her brother. So I wasn't there to help them, but actually I can be there for them. I can be for those kids who have lost their parents. I can be there for those girls who have separated from their husband.
The day had been grueling. By the end of it, we were able to talk to the children again and ask them what they needed without the adults. And I think that was the highlight of my day, where we were able to actually ask them, what do you need? What are the things that you hope for? And all of them wanted supplies for school. And I think in some ways, I really, really want to take them with me. It's just not something that we can do, but with their family, with their parents, perhaps we can find ways to make the life in the camp a bit easier.
So there was one girl I was talking to, I was interacting with her, and I was asking her, how many brother do you have, sister? She was like, I have one brother and he's in jail. And that moment, the way she was saying it so openly, she was like, for me, I have only one brother. I cannot imagine him being in jail, and I'm they're just doing nothing for her. She had no choice. Her brother is in jail, and in that moment, I really looked up to her, and I had tears in my eyes. I was like, look how strong this, our Rohingya young sisters and brother are. So that's a moment that I actually remember, and it will always forever stay with me. Now I'm seeing the screen where the Aceh people community in Indonesia, how they're helping our community, our people coming from the boat and with their no food, no water, and how they're helping us without even seeing their race or their anything. They're just helping them. So here we are at
all of the Muslims coming together, and this was a great experience for all of us. Now we're gonna head over to have some meetings with a lot of people, a lot of groups. So it's a big day ahead of us, but we have faith that we'll get through it.
So what we've, right after the Aceh trip, when we came back to Jakarta, it was August 25th, and that was our commemoration of genocide, 6th anniversary. So in partnership with Aman Indonesia, we were able to sort of organize a small moment for us to sort of commemorate this moment of our people by going to join the Friday prayer to remember, everything that happened and to commemorate the victims and the survivors. After that, we went to a meeting that Aman Indonesia also kindly organized with big philanthropic organizations and advocacy-based organizations that also deal with human rights and humanitarian aid in Indonesia. And we were looking for specifically commitment to children's education.
I think we have had quite a bunch of positive impacts. The one thing is that we have built this bond between our Rohingya sisters and the trust and the relationship between us to even work closer together for the long term for our shared vision and mission together. As well, the impact on the CSOs and government entities and other stakeholders that we had meeting with. They want to do something for our children, for our communities, and for our men and women in the camp and beyond. We've got some verbal promises that a bunch of civil CSOs and organizations are willing to support and advocate for the education of our children, the Rohingya children from the camp. So this is amazing. Usually in the advocacy, to see the impact, it doesn't usually come immediately. So to me, this is very significant. It's like right away coming the impact. So it is very powerful. And I think it is powerful. I'm gonna be biased because we are all the Rohingya sisters together, the women together, and we really believe in this together. We come from a place of passion, humility, and really wanting to do something for our community. So it is one of the most significant impact that I've ever seen in my time of advocacy. The immediate impact for the education for our children, and then the access to detention of the immediate family members of the communities from Aceh.
So when we were in camp, we gathered that most of the children were not receiving any formal education. So there's 80 children, but 10 children were able to go to school, but they were actually rejected recently due to several issues. But we've been lobbying and advocating for the education. So I think one achievement that we might have achieved is ensuring that these children are going to receive education through several organizations. So we are in the process of making that happen.
A lot of the meetings that I've gone to, there were many initiatives that I've witnessed, including like meetings where it's purely Rohingya women. We often didn't get anything much out of it because we didn't get the time to bond, the time to get to know each other on a deeper level. And I think we achieved that during this trip by going to Aceh, by going to listen and make sure that we remind ourselves on who we are and what do we want as a community.
Through my own personal experience in going to the refugee camp and seeing them with my own eyes, I learned how intense the situation is. So yeah, I would say that was the biggest thing that I learned.
I guess the beauty of this project was that we all had each other to lean on, and we all had each other to listen to.
I think it has improved a lot in a way that I think we now feel like as if we're siblings from the same mother. So it's challenging to find time to do a lot of fun stuff because we are on the advocacy trip. The first 2 days, I can tell you, we have been working from 7 a.m. until midnight. We're doing shopping, strategizing, and preparing all of this. So We don't have weekends, we don't have weekdays, we just walk, meeting. But in between, and then when we come back from the meeting, we do a little bit of debrief session together, and we talk about what is something that we appreciate about each other. By sharing those things, and I think it's even bring us closer.
Sometimes we cook together in the morning, we make sure everyone gets to eat, and then we have a debrief at night. Those moments really it will become extremely precious to us later on. It'll be a manifestation of our love towards each other, and that's what we're here for. I think in the end, be it the community connection, going to the refugee camp, it's also our love letter to the people there, that we haven't forgot about them, and we will keep trying, and we will keep, continuing.
I think the most important part about doing this work is doing as much as you can. Going beyond, go out of your comfort zone, and don't be afraid to take risks.
Just my final reflection, Rohingya women have a lot to offer to the world. We are people that have faced discrimination, violence, displacement, but despite going through all these atrocities, we still care for our family, our community, and we also contribute to the communities that we live in now. So if you give us the platform, if you give us the opportunities, we will strive and we will do our best.
Now we're just like 5 group of girls. You never know, in the future we could be like 20, 30 of girls together.
Yeah, so I just want to request to the people who are watching this video, we only need a little tiny bit of your support to provide us access and resources. We are so capable of rebuilding our communities together, and we're so capable of fighting for our cause, and thank you.
I think it was full of love, and that is the best I could describe it. Full of love from the people in the camps, and reminders that we need to keep going, but also full of love that we created among ourselves.